Hi, this is Aniko. I know it's been a while, but had some stuff on my mind and chest that really got to me. Be frank, saw my girl Raine post a video and I'm like, oh, what the hell brought this on? And then I went and investigated it and I was like, oh my goodness. And the second video that you didn't help any at all. So I thought I'd address this too, because obviously he lacks knowledge, Mr. Camera I-1. I am one of those girls. I am one of those African American girls by Jim Crow law standards that dates Asian men. I am an educated black woman, and by Jim Crow laws I mean that one drop of black in you that makes you black, and then also by the way specific people treat me. Some people have the courage and respect to ask me. Some people don't, and for me, I do not consider myself just black. I consider myself mixed because, to be frank, without the other ethnicities in my family tree, I would not exist. I am heavily mixed, but some people just like to have power over saying what people are, and I entertain them, but they have no rights. So basically, here's how it's going to go down. I'm going to just read because I had to take notes because I didn't want to be too long. And I did take 3 pages of notes on you, Mr. Camera I-1. Just consider it one of those things that educated black women do, and I'm sorry if that intimidates you. Oh well. Why is it acceptable for black men to date whoever they want and people not have a hissy fit at this point where we are in development of sociology? But now that you see black women doing it, it's not okay. To be quite frank, black men have been doing it a little bit longer, and that's why it seems second nature to you. It's I think a lot of black women have just started to realize that there are other options outside of the box. Me myself, I've always dated other ethnicities because black men have never found me attractive. I've always been told that I'm too skinny, I don't have a big enough butt, or I'm not black enough. And that terminology that you used was just asinine, to be frank. I act educated. And if you're going to say that being by acting black, it doesn't mean acting ghetto. You state that, but then you contradict your statement with the rest of your information that you put out. Because the fact of the matter is that I act educated, not white. So if you do state that I act educated and I'm articulate, and that means that I act white, but that doesn't mean that acting black is a bad thing, then you need to be more clear on that, and you were not in either of your videos. So come back and do it right. Maybe you should have other people review your videos before you put it up. And yes, indeed, you were totally miscommunicating if that's not what you were trying to reciprocate or communicate, because the fact of the matter is so many people did misunderstand you. So that sounds like a you problem and not a us problem, so deal with it yourself and don't make other people the excuse. The other thing that I want to address is, if a white person had made the video and the methodology or style that you did it, all hell would have raced, because people would have been calling him racist, or he's pro-white, or this and this and this. And to be quite frank, I found your video very racist. I found it very insulting to my family history, and I don't believe in reverse racism. Racism is just racism. Racism is just racism, and you have some issues. So you need to deal with that, not me or anybody else. That's your own personal problem. Currently, I've dated Polish, Yugoslavian, Turkish, Moroccan, German, Hispanic, and different types of Americans. And to be quite frank, I'm dating an Asian person right now, and that person has treated me better than any of them. I've also dated Jamaican, and I was with a Jamaican for a long time. But to be honest with you, um, if you don't treat what you have good or well, don't be upset when it leaves you. And it seems for me that so far the two Asian men and other Asian guys that I have encountered, um, and maybe it's because of the type of people I hang around too that has a lot to do with this, they treat women well. So maybe that's something that black guys need to be looking at as opposed to just saying it's all baby mama drama or blaming the female. I think there is a huge everybody else fault, not my own thing going on in the black community with specific people, with specific for specific people within that community that is just, I can't stand it, I can't stomach it, and I don't like to be around it. There's some accountability that needs to be taken effect there. Um, Accountability is a huge thing for me, and I really don't see that happening with a lot of black men. I see that it's everybody else's fault. I see this with black women too sometimes too, but I'm just letting you know that what you're going off of is only a small pinch of the big picture. So I'm trying to be respectful because look, I have a bad camera. Sorry, suck it up. I'm trying to be respectful because that's what I try to do. The other thing is that good men come in many colors. I think that a lot of black women have realized that they've been restricting themselves by sticking inside this box of one ethnicity, and I applaud them for opening their eyes and seeing that good men come in all M&M flavors or ice cream flavors. So good for them for going out there and seeing that there's a lot more out there that will treat you better. At the same aspect, I find it absolutely hilarious how I've heard so many black men talk about how they want girls with good hair or good lighter skinned girls, and how in these music videos they have all these light skinned girls with these big booties, and yet nobody is talking about them. And if a black woman is saying, you know what, I don't have the light skin that that girl has, or I don't have a big booty that that girl has, or I don't act like that girl, and a black man doesn't find me attractive, oh well. I think you are completely missing the picture. I'm stating that again. You seem like you really did not do enough research. You're saying you did, but honestly, I don't think you even understand the history of this. You really did not. I'm calling it bluff. I'm calling it bluff. I'm saying state the statistics. I'm saying show the links and where you show this. I'm saying do that because you sound like you talk a lot of stuff out of here. Okay? Maybe you do need to be more exposed to Asians, though, seriously, because with the globalization and free trade and, the world's changing, today people are different. They're not all at the same level, yes, but today people are definitely different than what you know Asians to be. I really don't think that you are around enough of them to make a judgment call. And what really is disgusting about your footage is that you are neither a black woman nor an Asian male to be talking. Don't talk about stuff you are not directly involved in or educated in. You're making guesses and assumptions, and it's really making it look bad. I would really recommend that you be quiet about stuff you don't know. The last thing I'm going to point out is that your whole mentality toward black women and a lot of other black men, and even white men in some case, about black women dating Asian men or other ethnicities is a slave mentality. It is a master mentality. You and many other black men have this mentality of this is not the right thing for her to do. Who said you are king of everything? You do not call the shots for individuals' lives. They call their own shots, and who they decide they want to date or like, it's up to them. I'm not calling the shots for you. I'm not calling shots for other black men. I'm not calling shots for Hispanic men or Native American men. I'm not talking jack about their life because it's their life. So I would have to say that maybe you should look at that, because that is definitely a slave mentality of how you are going about viewing black women going outside of their race just because they want, because of these idiotic reasons that you're giving out. It's just ridiculous. The fact of the matter is that when you have this possessive feeling over another person who you do not even have a blood connection to, because believe it or not, you don't know what blood connection we have together, and believe it or not, so many generations have passed through us that it is definitely watered down. I'm definitely not kin to you, and I honestly think that there's an assumption of rights that is out there, and I used to see black women do this, and I still know black women who do this, and it disgusts me. And it really disgusts me about, oh, look at him, he's with a white girl, and you didn't keep him. You know, it's about how you treat people, and if you don't treat people good, and if you're so busy focused on race instead of focusing on the quality of person, maybe you are a product of your environment, and basically the people around you, this is how they behave, and this is how you behave, which is kind of probably why you don't really know a lot about black women, and probably why you don't know a lot about the Asian community or how it's structured or its heritage and the ways, the similarities that we have or used to have or now have with the Asian community. I find your personality probably is something that is really restricting you from getting to know things a little more deeper. So this is an ego. I know I'm forgetting stuff. I'll sit down and review these notes again and make sure. But I mean, I had to give you a history lesson, dude. I had to give you a history lesson because if you look at the wars with colonization and the establishment of military bases overseas and the preventive measures that we took in order to prevent another World War II, that we just allowed the exposure of X-Men with Asian female to be around a lot longer. And also with the establishment of hip-hop, which is something we tried to use on black women, in many of these Asian cultures, the black male's face has also been exposed that way along with sports. So it goes all ways. I'm sorry, it goes all ways. And to be frank, some American men or some men, period, see Asian women as a form of property as well, which is another form of slavery. So maybe you should be looking more at the core roots of men and women as opposed to specific races. You have, you don't sound very educated, I'm sorry. I am educated. I have an international relations degree. I speak 4 languages. I'm also ex-military. I'm also a military brat. And I've been raised in many cultures. My godmom's Korean. I have a Cuban, half of my family too. And I just think that you have not been exposed enough to make these calls culturally or anything like that. So please come back with some better game. It wasn't cute. Here you go. Oh.